taking time to enjoy it. The people, the places, and the things I appreciate become more precious to me as I discover that each reflects God's presence and God's activity in a uniquely beautiful way. I am grateful to have so much to appreciate. And love one another with mutual affection. Outdo one another in showing honor. Romans 12:10.
Oh, good morning. Good morning. So let's start off with our prayer of St. Francis. God, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O blind presence, grant that I may not so seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is through grace that we are given eternal life. And so I'm going to have Barbara dim the lights, and we're going to do a little short guided meditation, and then we'll go straight into our 2 minutes of silence. So everyone just close your eyes, and I invite you to just uncross your legs or your hands, and just find that space that you like to be in. Where do you like to be? Sitting at the beach? At the mountains, by a lake, in your backyard? Where's your special spot that you like to be in? And as you just sit still in that space, feeling that presence of God with you, and if you're outside, you feel that breeze gently blowing against your skin. And you just feel the light, that light of God permeating through your body, and you just feel it coming through your back of your head, and it feels warm, and it feels healing. And you feel it go through your shoulders, all the way down your hands, and you feel it just moving your fingertips just slightly. And you feel it going through your spine, down your back. And you feel it going down to your hips. And that white, beautiful light of God, the warmth of that healing power of God in your body. And you just have it go right down your legs. You feel it in your knees where you're so flexible, all the way down to our feet, and you wiggle your toes and just feel the gratitude for your body. We just feel that gratitude for our hands, thanking our hands for everything that it holds throughout our whole life. And we just have gratitude for our whole body, for our eyes, that we see everything that we see, and everything that we get to smell with our nose, taste with our mouth, and our feet that carry us around forever. And so with such gratitude, we just stay in that space as we go into our 2 minutes of silence. Okay, gently open your eyes and come back to the room. Thank you very much.
Open your mind, unfold your heart, relax your senses, and feel every part. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Release, unbound. Breathe every breath. Release your cringe. Love without waiting. Slowly unhinge. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love that's growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Release, unbound. You can stop waiting for love to find you. Look inside your heart. Love's already who you are. Lift up your voice. Let it be heard. Tell me your story. And don't leave out a word. I think I've been there too. I'm a seeker just like you. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Release, unbound. Release, unbound.
Well, I know Gary Lynn Floyd is a very giving man, but you know, he could hold that song closer to the vest, and if he heard you sing it, he might, because you sound better than he does. Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's really good. Sorry, Gary. So you guys know we've been doing the 12 Powers of Man. And it worked out really beautifully this time because we did it during Lent, and there were a lot of the powers that specifically dealt with the types of things that we look at during Lent. And we also Yeah, we also take a look at these powers as those principles that can help us to move forward in life. And today, we're talking about release. Release is one of the executive powers of each of us. We have the ability to hold in mind what it is we'd like to, unless, of course, we get so trampled with our own thinking that we're unable to release the things that we absolutely need to release in order to grow. This is one of my favorite aspects of any sort of spiritual growth, honestly. It truly is. There's a depth to this that Charles Fillmore wanted to make certain that we understood. So what he did was he attached to each of the 12 powers a disciple, and he attached a color, and he attached a place in the body where it can be found. So there is a space where release can be found. Now let me start with this, that it wasn't originally called release. It went through a couple of cycles. One of the powers, this power was originally called elimination, which covers all sorts of types of things that happen in the body and through the body, as well as in the mind and through the mind. And so it was seen as a larger word to cover a lot of the things that we need to eliminate in our lives in order to grow. And then it was changed to renunciation. Renunciation is a part of the elimination process as well, because you kind of have to say goodbye. We're through with you in order to move on to the next greater yet to be. And then that was changed because elimination and renunciation don't allow us in today's world to understand what we're going to be doing, when we engage in elimination or renunciation. Because just renouncing something or saying, I don't want that anymore, doesn't seem to give us the powerful feeling of something happening within us. So the word release has been used over the past many decades to describe what's going on in this particular executive power. And I like the word release. You guys like the word release? Yeah, I really, really like the word release. It makes sense. And Charles Fillmore actually used that word a lot when he was describing elimination and even renunciation. So we pick up that word release and understand a little bit more of what it means, because in our vernacular, it's kind of like letting go. It's letting these things, just pass through us, making space for the new. And I have, of course, a saying you've heard before, that the space for what you want is being taken up by what you're settling for, which tells you that maybe it's time for some of these things to be released so that something new can come forward. So the disciple that is attached to this idea of release is Thaddeus. And Thaddeus was actually Jude as well, which can be looked at as Judas, but he's not Judas Iscariot. There was Jude, who was a different Judas in the 12. And he ended up in Armenia preaching the gospel. And so became a martyr, by the way, in Armenia, which, 3, I believe, of the disciples ended up becoming martyrs. They died for the faith, you see, as a token to the faith, as we look at that in retrospect. But Thaddeus is a man who was often dressed in brown clothing or light brown clothing while he was preaching in the Armenian church that he set up. And so the color assigned to Thaddeus is russet. And russet's a brown. Russet's kind of a brown color, I think russet's kind of like these shoes I got on, it's like or a russet potato maybe after you've washed it. So it's sort of a brown color, and it's because he wore that clothing. And the space where this particular region of release is located is in the abdominal region. And the reason for that is because this release business has something to do with elimination as well. By the way, if you keep the toxins within your body rather than eliminate them, then you're going to get really sick. And many of us have probably known people with sepsis. Many have known people who have elimination problems in their lives, and they find themselves getting very, very sick as a result of it, and you can die. And that's understandable because we have to be this vessel that flows, that provides ingress and egress. And Charles Fillmore kind of spoke to that. In fact, he spoke to it directly, and when he did, I decided it was worthwhile enough to write down in the book of Greg. So this is a direct quote from Charles Fillmore. It is just as necessary that one should learn to let go of thoughts, conditions, and substances in consciousness, body, and affairs when they have served their purpose and one no longer needs them, as it is that one should lay hold of new ideas and new substances to meet one's daily requirements. So we talk a lot about newness, and how we want to be open to new ideas, but he says it's just as important to release these old ideas that don't serve us any longer, and that sort of fits right into that saying, release those things so there's space for the new things that are popping into your mind, that you put into action, that you bring into your life in a meaningful way. So, in trying to take these ideas and bring them into my life so that I understand them, so that I understand how they could affect me personally and affect other people. I like to use analogies, and I really like the analogy of a lake when it comes to this idea of release and how toxic a lake can get if there is no space for that water to be released. A lake requires ingress, which is the water coming in, and egress, which is the water leaving, And I love this analogy because it so fits my body as well as everybody else's body, but I also live on a lake. Jackie and I live on a lake, and we see this happening all the time because there are a couple of different spaces where this lake is fed, where it's fed from runoff from the mountains during the rain, and there's also a spring that feeds it all the time, so there's a little trickle coming in all the time. And then once the lake gets high enough, reaches a certain height, there's kind of a spillway where it spills over into a culvert. And it's by design because nobody wants to see what that lake is like or smell what that lake will be like if it doesn't have this kind of space to eliminate or release that water. So you stand out by the lake and you see that it's teeming with life. In the evening, you can see the fish jumping. The birds are flying close to the surface of the water and just having a great time. The geese and ducks are making beautiful sounds and playing with each other. And, you get to see them every day and every night, and you can recognize the differences between them, even though they all look so much alike. They act in little different ways, and so we name them. And we have a birthing tree for herons. I mean, it's a heronry where they come back every year and they sit in the nests, and it's a part of the lake culture, if you will, for the animals there, that they all interact and act in a way that supports and enjoys this lake. So it's teeming with life, turtles, fish, everything's necessary that's necessary for this lake to thrive and survive is there. But imagine that there's no ingress and imagine that there's no egress and it just sits there. No oxygenated water comes in. Nothing is released. The fish continue to dirty the water. No new water comes in. The beautiful lake that looked so incredibly filled with life starts to die. There's no more oxygen in the water. The fish can't support themselves. The entire ecosystem starts to fail. The ducks and geese no longer make their rounds and make their migration rounds and nest at that location. And all you have is a mud puddle. That's what happens when you hold on to the things that come into your life and do not allow them to be released. That's what happens when we, like a lake, don't allow this ingress and egress known as the law of circulation. Your body physically circulates and does some really great things for you. your bloodstream, takes toxins from the cells and removes them. And there's a whole system that, we could spend hours talking about and describing that help us to, remove these toxins and become as healthy as we can possibly be. We can see that. We can see it under a microscope. We can have people in the medical industry describe them to us, and if things aren't working right, they even produce new medications that help us to get through those difficult times when they're not working right. But when it's happening inside of us as our thought processes, it's a little harder to determine what the heck is going on. When our elimination and law of circulation process is not happening as we'd like to see it within ourselves, we have a little bit of a problem. And so what we try and do when we come to places like this is we try and take an inventory, actually, of what it is that's important to us and see what's really going on within us. See if there's something that maybe we do need to release. Maybe releasing it by taking a look at it in a completely different way. There are people in this world, and you know them, who were taught certain things at a very young age, and they cling to those things. They do not let them go because that's the way I was taught by my parents, or that's what I learned in Sunday school. They don't allow themselves to grow. They take those ideas, they build their life around those ideas, and they will not let any new ones come in. For any new ones to come in, of course, you got to release the old ones, but releasing the old ones becomes really, really tough when you're attached to them, and when those old ideas are attached to the parents, or the minister, or the book that you love so much, or whatever it might be. Those old ideas might have some attachment beyond the information. And so sometimes we hold on to those when maybe it's time to let them go. There is a way that I had to access in order to find a new way of living. You see, I hung on to old ideas for a long time. There was a time when I was practicing law, and it was stressful and anxious. I was anxious. I was fearful. Things are difficult because you're leaning on judges and juries and clients to tell you what they need and what they want, and you're looking for support for them, but really all they're looking for is support from you. And so there's really no ingress and egress there. You're not being supported by the people that you're working with. In fact, it's an antagonistic system, and it creates all kinds of difficulties in thought processes and feelings. And I numbed those feelings and that anxiety with alcohol. I did that. And it became my go-to. And there was a time when I thought, boy, without this happy hour experience, without the glass of wine once I got home, then it turned into without those shots of whiskey before I go to bed, how am I going to make it in life? I wasn't going to let it go because it would affect so many other things in my life. Eventually it got worse, much like the lake getting so muddy. Much like that lake being unable to sustain life. Eventually it got so bad something had to be done. So I went to speak with somebody about this, and this particular person had some really great ideas. And he used these phrases. He said, first you have to uncover what's going on. Then you have to discover, and then you have to release. So you take a look at what's going on in your life. You uncover, you discover, and he used the word discard for release. And I really liked that idea. It was something that I could do, but I didn't understand the purpose of it. I didn't understand why I had to really take an inventory. Why didn't he just say, just stop? Just stop. I know today why that would not have worked. It never worked in the past. It never worked for me in the past. 26 years ago, I was unable to stop. That's why I needed to go to somebody. I'm glad I went to this person. And this person brought about a new way of being. So I had to do an inventory to uncover and discover, to figure out what was no longer serving me. And he brought this really interesting story to me. He said, this life that we live is kind of like driving around in a station wagon. You drive around in this station wagon that has a back, you know. It's got a back seat and it's got a back, a way back, you know, and you drive around and things happen, or you get things, or whether they're material or non-material things. When you're through with them, you just throw them in back. You know, you just throw them over your shoulder to the back, you know, and as you're in that space where you're doing what you always did, that is drinking to get through the anxiety and the fear and the problems and the pain and stuff, you're continuing to throw these things back there without dealing with them. You know, that's what you do. When they come up, you just throw them back. And when you stop doing the things that you were doing because it got too painful, you put on the brakes to that car, and all that stuff in the back comes flooding up around you. I mean, it flies around you. It hits the front windshield. It comes into the front seat. All that crap is right there. And you have to deal with it. You have to do something about it, you know. So this process that we're going to go through, he says, is to sift through all that stuff that was in your station wagon, all that stuff that ended up in your front seat, see if it serves you anymore, and then chuck it, release it, make room for something new. And so the clearing out process became apparent to me. It became very necessary for me to do this so that there was room for something brand new. So that process changed my life. But I noted while Jackie was reading the prayer of St. Francis that this prayer of St. Francis really kind of is about that. You know, this prayer of St. Francis is very, very much about this idea of releasing. You know, in the second part of the prayer of St. Francis that she read, and if you want, you can put it, can you put it up there, Sandy? That'd be great. Because I have it up here, and it says, O Divine Master, second page. O Divine Presence, O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console. Can I give up this idea that I need to be consoled and step into something new to console? Can I do that? And in a moment, we're going to find out what that really means. It's a shift in worldview. But can I let go of this idea that I need to be consoled so that I might console somebody else? I mean, what a sea change, right? I mean, that's a 180-degree turn. You know, I'm going to stop feeling sorry for myself, feeling like the victim, and console somebody else who might be in a tough situation. Wow, that's a big change. To be understood is to understand. So can I give up that demand to be understood and try and understand somebody else? Wow, another sea change, another 180-degree turn. You know, you have to release the idea that you need to understand me and seek to understand someone else, their situation, what's going on in their lives. To be loved is to love. Wow. So can you give up the idea that you must be loved by everybody? Now that's a tough one because, you know, that's the basis of our fears around what it is that we do and say and how we wander through the world and get dressed every day, you know? I mean, we want to be liked, we want to be loved, but can we give up that idea that that's so important or as important as loving? But you say, I want to be loved. Of course I want to be. Of course you want to be loved. What St. Francis is saying in this prayer, and by the way, St. Francis didn't write it. We don't know who did, but let's just say he did. Because it gives it a lot of authority, doesn't it? I mean, a saint wrote this sucker, you know? He's telling each of us, if you love, you're going to be loved. You know, if you love, you're going to be loved. But that's a 180-degree shift. For it is in the giving that we receive. It is in the pardoning that we are pardoned. Ah, it's about forgiveness there, isn't it? It is in the pardoning that we are pardoned. If you can forgive somebody else, that's the only way you can be forgiven. I mean, this is about taking yourself out of victimhood and placing yourself in a position where you can do some help, where you can be of service to somebody else. It's a way of looking at life that takes you out of that realm of being the one that's always being shot at to the one that is the cutting edge of your life. You're creating it. Just like that question I read this morning. Creating your own life on the cutting edge of it. It's a magnificent sea change. It's a big change. And you see that if you do these things, then you have control over your life. You know, you're not being led around by the nose by your wants, your wants, your wants. And your wants are a demonstration of your lack. You want to live in lack? Well, then walk around making sure that everybody understands you, making sure that everybody loves you, making sure that you get exactly what you want in the consoling and understanding department, never giving anything. Giving is abundance. Giving is a demonstration of abundance. Do you want to live in a world where everything's not there for you? Or do you want to live in a world where there's plenty? I know you want to live in that world where there's plenty. If you live in that world where there's plenty, then you have to give up the idea that there's not enough. You must give up that idea that there's not enough. You must release it. You can renunciate it, you can eliminate it, whatever you want to do, but you've got to get rid of it. It can't be a part of your vernacular anymore that everything's terrible, there's not enough. There's not enough of this, there's not enough of that. You have everything you need. In fact, you have so much that you can give some away, whatever it might be. Love, understanding, consolation. I mean, you got it. So when Charles Fillmore is talking about this in the 12 Powers, he's talking about exactly that. He really says, get it right in mind, and it'll start happening in your body. As within, so without. Yeah. Even Eric Butterworth has a quote that I really, really like that speaks to this. I think it speaks to this. Eric Butterworth says, no matter what happens out there in the world or even on your own doorstep, all that really counts is what happens in your own mind. When you get your thoughts centered at the still point within and begin to see your life as a giving experience, then you control the giving, and no one can take that control from you. What a power. Wow, this is cool stuff. So I want you to know that there's going to be plenty of wonderful time to talk while we eat, and I love it when people talk about this talk, you know, when people get a chance to talk about some of the ideas we've expressed today. So know that I love you and that I see the God in you, and when I say that, what do you say back? Namaste. Ah, thank you, and so it is. Well, we have an expert in the ushering department today. And Claire has her ushering uniform on. And we had a terrific discussion about those wonderful colors in her ushering uniform today. Yes, you just bring the brilliance in the springtime, my dear. Thank you so much. And she, by the way, is a fantastic usher. Do you see the way she holds this? The right arm forward, the left arm back. Perfectly done. Thank you so much. So there are two things in here right now, right? Oh, there's a check. Yeah, thank you for writing that, Jackie. I appreciate that very, very much. And we also have a few people on that I can identify right now. Colleen. Good to see you, Colleen. Good to feel you. We have Charles DeTurk. Yay, Charles. Yay, Charles. Steve waving his hand there. Charles is in Michigan. Colleen is in Illinois. And we have Audrey, who's all the way across country in Upland, California. We love it when you're here, Audrey, especially when we get to see your name. So, all right, so this is our giving. This is our sacred giving. And what we do is we take a look at what's important in our lives and we support that which is important. I mean, that if we want to see it survive and thrive and move forward, we support it. And so that's what we do here at Unity of Pasadena. And I don't know about you, but I know Jackie and I love Unity of Pasadena, and so we truly, truly want to support it. And we love the idea that we can. We're on the giving side of life today, which means that we feel like we have enough. Even when things get a little squeaky tough, we sure feel like we have enough. Would you join me in our giving statement, our community giving, please? God is the source of my overflowing supply, and I am grateful, and so it is. Hit it, Mitch.
So I'm going to be doing a song today celebrating our love for Sundays. And at some point I'm going to ask you to sing along and sing Lovely Day with me. life's heavy on my mind, then I look at you, and the world's all right with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. Lovely day, lovely day, a lovely day. Lovely day, lovely day. When the day that lies ahead of me seems impossible to face, when someone else instead of me always seems to know the way, then I look at you, and the world's all right with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. Lovely day, lovely day, a lovely day. Lovely day, lovely day. So I want everyone to sing lovely day. Chant with me, here we go. Lovely day, lovely day. Again, lovely day, lovely day. Lovely day, lovely day. Here we go, everybody. Lovely day, lovely day. Lovely day, lovely day. One more time, and day. Here we go. Lovely day, lovely day. Lovely day, lovely day. Lovely day, lovely day. Good job. Thank you.
Mitch, that was just lovely. Fantastic, thank you. Come on forward, Claire. Well, these are tithes and treasures for the benefit, for the welfare, for the integrity of this church. Unity of Pasadena is a special place. I know that each and every one of you know that. And our leaders are special people. Our leaders here at Unity of Pasadena promise and pledge to make certain that all of this is utilized for the highest good, not only for Unity of Pasadena, but for the surrounding community, for the consciousness that serves those that need healing and love and caring and compassion. We bring that here. We are a neighborhood beacon of light for good. We just love that idea. And so these promises are made with love in our hearts. We release them into the law of mind, knowing that they're already done, that we've done it, and we continue to do it. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, Claire. Appreciate it very much. All right, we got our community. Come on up, please, Barbara. Lovely day.
Indeed it is. And throughout our service, hopefully you have seen our vision and our mission and core values demonstrated. But let's take a moment to affirm them together. Our vision: envisioning a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And our mission, which puts feet upon the vision, is transforming lives by living and sharing our inner truth of divine wisdom, compassion, and love, using practical spiritual principles. And what are our core values? Creating community, living love, teaching truth, serving spirit. And speaking of serving and the spirit of serving, our hospitality time today, which is the third Sunday of the month, is Team K through R. And one of the team members, which is Norma Lopez Reed,
even though she was going to be out of town, made sure that we all had our desserts ahead of time. She left them in the office before taking off. So think of her when you see that beautiful layout, plus the sign that she has which says, "Eat dessert first." Okay. Then next week is the fourth Sunday, and that's Team S through Z. Mark your calendars, remembering that first Sunday of May, which is only 2 Sundays away, will be our prayer chaplain dedication Sunday, in addition to tea time. And what else is happening? Well, I'm glad that Greg remembered the birthdays at this time. I enjoy doing that, so that's kind of a fun thing. And our monthly bulletin, we've been asked to put in the hospitality teams, so we'll look to do that with the May version of it, because having everything in one place, yes, right. Not sure where in here, but we'll find the appropriate place. Maybe in the Sunday column we'll put week 1, 2, 3, and 4. That might work. Okay, because it does have in one place the basic primary things that you want to know. It's got the monthly calendar for the current month. It's got the prior month's financial summary. It's got our mission, vision, and core statements, our key church people, upcoming events, and that's the basics. And you can stick that, on your refrigerator, next to your phone, next to your bed, etc. But if you want more, try the website. And if you have, if you have trouble using the website, let one of us know, and we'll try to organize, a time when, maybe a Sunday when Gay is here, that that she can, help those of us who need help using the website to see all the other valuable things that are on there, because there's links to other places that much more information about our events, the opportunity to give online. And for those of you out there online, as well as anybody here in the audience today, to get on our weekly e-blast, there is a place online where you can give us your email address if you have not done that before, and then we'll put you on the e-blast list. That's all. Won't bug you any other way, but it'll just give you the weekly Sunday reminder, and who the musician is, what the talk is about, etc. So anyway, I welcome you to this lovely day and turn it over to Reverend Greg to close.
So that was sweet of Norma, wasn't it? To bring the sweets. I mean, I love that. Sorry about the pun. I couldn't resist. We have prayer chaplains that are at your service today. So after the song that we're going to sing, our closing song, which is going to be what?
Let there be peace.
Let peace. We're going to do the peace song. After the peace song, if you want prayer, please just stay seated, and Jackie will come around to you. She's the prayer chaplain of the day. Thank you, Jackie, for doing that. So before we do that, what we do is we stand, and we do our silent unity prayer for protection before we get to sing together. So please join me. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever I am, God is. I am divine, and all is well.